Alright everybody, today we are looking at how to solve two-step equations. Now this should probably be a review from last year, but that is totally okay, and if it's not and it's something new, that's great too. So you already know how to solve one-step equations. Let's look at like four basic ones here. So we'll do x plus 3 equals 5, x minus 3 equals 5, 2x equals 16, and let's also throw in 1/2 x equals 5. Quickly solve all four of these. We should be able to do so in one step. Pause and then come back. Okay, so I'm assuming you have paused your video, finished all four of these, and you're ready to check your work. So let's start with the one all the way on the left, which is one of the trickier ones. To get rid of 1/2, you multiply both sides by 2, because the opposite of division is multiplication, and we get x equals 10. To get rid of addition, we subtract from both sides, and we get x equals 2. To get rid of subtraction, we add to both sides, and we get x equals 8. And to get rid of multiplication, we divide, and we get x equals 8 again. So working a two-step equation is very, very, very similar to working a one-step equation, but it's a little bit trickier. Let's take the simple example of 2x plus 7 equals, let's go with 15. We have a small problem here, and that's that we have two things we need to get rid of, the 7 and the 2. Now, the order that you get rid of them in doesn't matter, but yet it kind of does a little bit. Let me give you a visual description of kind of what we have going on here. What we've really got is two sides of like think of something that's balanced. Okay, so pretend this is like a really terrible drawing of a scale. And we've got a bunch of little 1 cubes, and we've got 2 little x cubes over on the left side, and then we've got 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and we've got, I'm going to draw those into nice little cubes. Okay, so pretend we have a bunch of, like, seriously, a bunch of cubes on here, and all those cubes represent 1, but then we got the 2 that are x. We need to figure out what a single x is valued at, okay? The problem is we have to do the same thing to both sides in order to keep things balanced. So to get 1x over on the left-hand side, you might think, oh, let's subtract x. But if we subtract an x from this side, we would also have to subtract an x from the other side, and we don't really have any x's to subtract from, so that's not going to be helpful. The other thing that we could do is we could divide both sides in half, cut both sides in half. But we don't want to do that right away. What we want to do instead is subtract 7 from both sides, and I'm going to show it over here, and I'm going to show it over here. So now what we've got left is 2x's over here equal to 8 singles over here. That's what we've got left. 2x equals 8. Now, there's kind of two ways that you can solve. I mean, like, we can't get a single x by itself on the side, but what we can do is we can split it into 2 equal groups and say, oh, if we divide it into 2 equal groups, this side, each group will have an x in it, and this side, each group will have 4 singles in it. So the idea is that a single x must equal 4 singles in order for those sides to be balanced out. Because if this x equaled anything other than 4 singles, we wouldn't have a balanced equation. Okay, so divide both sides by 2, and you get x equals 4. Here's the bottom line with solving two-step equations. You need to kind of work in the opposite of order of operations. So you want to get rid of any addition or subtraction that you have first, and then get rid of any multiplication or division. Okay, so let's look at some specific examples. We've got a few here. I'll do the first one. It's actually really tricky, and then I'll have you guys try the last two, and then I'll come back and show my work. Okay, so again, working in reverse of the order of operations, you should get rid of the addition first, which means subtracting 3 from both sides. And then to get rid of a negative 1/2, you want to multiply by negative 2. We need to multiply by the negative because we want a positive x over on that side and not a negative x. So negative 1/2 times negative 2 cancels out to a 1, and we just get x equals 14. What I'd like for you guys to do is try the next 2 problems on your own, just to see if you've got it or not. Pause and then come back and I'll show you my work. So I'm assuming you've done that now, and solving both of these. I'll go through my work rather quickly. If you have questions, we can discuss those in class when we next meet. So we've got 4x equals 20. After subtracting 5 from both sides, divide by 4, we get x equals 5. This one I threw in here to be a little bit tricky. We subtract 5 from both sides, we get negative x equals 11. You might think, well, we kind of have x by itself, but it's actually negative x. To get rid of the negative sign, you can either multiply or divide by negative 1, because when we multiply the 2 negatives together, we'll get a positive. So we get x equals negative 11. That's it for today. Hopefully you learned something, and we will tackle any questions you have in class next time we meet.